Good evening, everybody. This is Danny Thompson for the BuzzCity PostGame show for game number 15 of the season. I'm your host, Danny Thompson, with the three-point conversion senior NBA writer covering the Charlotte Hornets. And this is the best postgame show you're going to find anywhere about, guess what, the Charlotte Hornets. And for those who are not watching the show, I appreciate you stopping by. And for those who always been continuing to watch the show, by all means, thank you once again. So, for those, like I said, if you don't know me, I'm Danny Thompson, senior NBA writer for the three-point conversion, and this is, like I said, we do this after every single home game every single game with the Charlotte Hornets. And tonight is game number 15 against the Chicago Bulls. Also, we're on the Habs TV app, so if you don't have it, please download it. Because guess what? I'm using a new platform that makes it super easy for me to go ahead and give you this great content and broadcast it to all my social media channels. That way you can see it in one place. But what I want you to do is download the Habs TV app, Habs.tv app today, and subscribe for even more content. I'll be doing even more content, not just with the Hornets related, NBA related, over the next couple of weeks. And you get 100 coins for joining the work. Joining, which you also support. If you're looking for my way to subscribe, you'll see me right under the corner. You'll see the Habs.tv/Danny Thompson. So please follow me on there, as well as all forms of social media as well too. So the Charlotte Hornets played game number 15 tonight against the Chicago Bulls, and it was a long layoff. Charlotte was not exactly prepared for this game in so many ways. It was really a long layoff. Normally in the NBA, you don't get layoffs like this unless you are really at the All-Star break. This is a layoff that normally doesn't happen in the NBA, and also you have to readjust things. And big shout out to Precious, as you see her. If you're also in the chat as well too, as she did, she said hello. As well as if you really like to support the work by all means, please. Please drop a little donation in the box there, as Precious do. But back to the game tonight. All right, listen. So for those coming into the game, like Charlotte was supposed to play on Wednesday. The Washington Wizards are out due to COVID and everything else in between. So with COVID taking out the Wizards, and the Wizards hadn't played all week, Charlotte had a couple extra days off. So with Charlotte having a couple extra days off, in some cases it looked like a training camp type of vibe, having this many days off. And getting Cody Zeller back into the rotation was something completely huge. It's something they needed. Cody had missed almost an entire month due to a hand injury that he suffered on opening night. Well, it looked in the beginning of the game that Charlotte, the layoff hadn't got to them. They started the game up 17-11. They were getting open shots. Devontae Graham had 8 quick points by using basically his jump shot, knocked out a couple 3-pointers, and was really getting to the lane. Should have got that 3-pointer with the foul, but they didn't give it to him. Graham got off to a good start, and it looked like Chicago, who was without Wendell Carter Jr., was struggling to keep the Charlotte Hornets out the paint. Well, in typical Hornets fashion, when the Hornets get up 30 points in a quarter, it doesn't look good. And when you have a team like the Chicago Bulls that going into the game has scored 115 points in at least the last 6 games, you need to start playing defense. And of course, we all know what Zach LaVine has done to the Hornets in the past. He's been a Hornets killer for the last at least couple seasons. And the magic number, if you watch the telecast, even Del Curry said tonight, the magic number was the number 30. If Charlotte kept the Bulls from scoring 30 points in a quarter, they had a chance to win the game. The problem was Charlotte gave up 30 points in 3 of the first 4 quarters and then gave up 29. Was it 28 or 29 in the fourth quarter? But let's tell the real-time story tonight. Before I get into any questions about the actual performances tonight, let's really break how this game broke down. Like I said, it was really a 17-11 game midway through the first quarter. Chicago got back in the game, took a lead. Hornets were down 1 into the first quarter, and really it was a back and forth affair, but the Bulls got to the magic number of 30, which was, guess what, the number they needed. The problem was in the second quarter, when the second quarter started, Charlotte took the lead, and then the Bulls started running, literally. Charlotte's main thing all season has been really just getting up and down the court and being able to score in transition, and also being able to create off the fast break, and also get the ball to one another by sharing the basketball. In this game tonight, the Chicago Bulls out the Charlotte Hornets. And what I mean by that is the Bulls got out and ran. They ran up and down the court. They were getting fast breaks. They were getting easy baskets. And you can tell the defense was really reliant on not letting the Bulls hit 3-pointers. But when they did that, they let the interior go completely bad. In the first half, the Bulls hit 19 shots from inside of the free throw line, including 15 of them from inside the restricted area. No matter what you do in the NBA, if you allow teams to get inside that restricted area, they're going to score consistently. No matter how good Charlotte was in the game, and Devontae Graham had an outstanding start tonight. When he had an outstanding start tonight, he had 22 points in the first half, was getting, like I say, he had those first 8 points in the first quarter. He was off to a good shooting start. But when you can't pack the paint and you can't stop the paint, it wasn't really a pretty sight. No matter how good Charlotte was shooting the ball, when Chicago was getting easy looks at the rim, backdoor cuts, and it looked like the defense was off on a different level. We watched the last 3 games, especially what Toronto did from behind the 3-point arc. It looked like Coach Borrego's last couple of days of preaching stopping the 3-pointer in the first half was the right job. The bad part was everything in the interior looked bad. And for a team like Chicago that was kind of undersized by Wendell Carter Jr., Lauri Markkanen played like a power forward when she's really not one. And then you had Otto Porter getting to the basket. You had Zach LaVine, of course, is how Zach LaVine was. But you saw Coby White as a distributor in the first half, and you saw the Bulls use different ways to get to the rim tonight. So it was just a bad first half for Charlotte all the way around. They cut the lead down to 1, and then the Bulls just kept pushing the lead out. And this was the growing theme all night was Charlotte would get the lead down, which like we saw in the first few games of the season, but they could not overtake it. They were down 56-48 at close end of the quarter, and then it was down 61-53 in the third quarter, going to the halftime break. Good news for Hornets fans in this season is that the Charlotte Hornets were the best second half defensive team in the NBA. They've only given up 50 points a game, and we watched third quarters, especially coming out of the break. Charlotte would always play good defense in the third quarter. That's what gets the Hornets back in the game. Between somebody catching fire in the third quarter offensively and the team just getting defense in the third quarter, that's what's been the whole thing for Charlotte. Tonight was not it. The good news on the offense side was Gordon Hayward, who was, he had 10 points in the first half and had some turnovers. Hayward got hot in the third quarter. He had 17 points in the quarter. He was getting to the free throw line, getting baskets, getting to the lane. He was knocking down shots. Gordon Hayward was being Gordon Hayward. This is the same Gordon Hayward we've seen carry this offensive load in many of games. Go back to Brooklyn, go back to Atlanta. There have been at least about 6 or 7 times, 4 or 5 times this year where Hayward has picked up the offensive slack and has carried this team offensively. Naday over in St. John saying hello to you, Naday, always. She always stops by and says hello. Appreciate it, Shoxy. I know this is kind of awesome, isn't it? But back to the third quarter in the Hornets. It's really been what the problem in the third quarter was for Charlotte was it wasn't scoring. Because Charlotte always does well in the third quarter, and Gordon Hayward was carrying the offensive load. Unfortunately, nobody else in the quarter seemed like they could do anything offensively. Hayward had the 17 in the quarter. Devontae Graham, I told you, had the hot start with the 22 in the first half. He was scoreless in the quarter. Then you had, PJ was the only other guy that really did anything. He had 4 points. But the Bulls, including Coby White, was just getting where they wanted to. Garrett Temple was hitting 3-pointers. It looked like Garrett Temple was doing what Norman Powell had did in I would say Toronto, but in Tampa before the break. He was getting open shots from the edges of the wings and knocking down those threes. And the Bulls really just was flourishing from behind the line. They hit 5 3-pointers in the quarter. Charlotte was 0 for 7. Hayward, Washington, Terry. Rozier didn't get his first basket until the and one he had with a dunk in the third quarter. Terry Rozier went scoreless in the first half and did not play his best game of the season. Okay, in a game where they need him, Rozier just didn't do anything in the first half to even. I don't know. It's just Terry didn't seem like he was in it in the first half. He, like I said, didn't score until like the midway through the third quarter, and Charlotte just couldn't get the lead back. They just kept struggling. They could not break the barrier, and then really they got the lead to 5. The Bulls, every time the Hornets would get there, the Bulls would somehow stretch the lead out. They had the lead up to 12 at the end of 3, and then the Bulls just stretched the lead in the fourth quarter. The closest the Hornets got was 103-97, and then next thing you know, the Hornets just fell apart again, and then they got outscored the rest of the way. Final score 123-110, and it just Charlotte's now, well, they've lost 4 in a row. They're 6-9 on the season with an interesting next 5. With 5 games in 8 days, 5 games in the next 7 days. It's a lot on Charlotte. There's going to be a lot going into Charlotte for the next week or so. They play 5 games between Sunday and Saturday of next week. It's a lot going on. So 123-110 was the final. the quick box score check from everybody tonight. Like I said, Gordon Hayward had a team high 34 points tonight, and a game high 34 to go along with 6 rebounds and 4 assists. He was 12 of 20 from the floor. Devontae Graham had 22 of his 24 in the first half. He finished with 24 points and 6 assists tonight in his 37 minutes. Also, PJ Washington, he had 16 points and 4 rebounds. Even though he did miss 6 3-pointers on the night. Cody Zeller did make his return. He played 11 minutes, 5 points, 3 rebounds. He, for a guy that's been out for about a month, he played well at times, and there was the best of times. Of course, it was the worst of times at the same time for Cody tonight. It just really wasn't working for him tonight, but I don't know what you can expect from a guy that's been out literally for a month. And to be honest with you, I think he played 18 minutes in the first game of the season. And when you play 18 minutes in your first game, you don't really have much chemistry with the team that's already was starting to gel with the 8 to 9 players they were using on the floor. The rest of the guys tonight, like I say, when you look at Terry Rozier tonight, Terry had 10 points, 4-12 shooting, just 6 assists. Like I said, Biyombo had 6 points and 10 rebounds. Miles Bridges, 2 points and 7 rebounds in 19 minutes. LaMelo Ball, 7 points, 2 assists, 2 steals. In his 17 minutes of the floor, and Caleb Martin played just about the most minutes off the bench, 6.6 rebounds and 2 steals in about 20 minutes on the floor for him. Bulls were led tonight by Zach LaVine, of course. It wasn't the Zach LaVine offensive game that we expected from him tonight, but what Zach LaVine did tonight was be everywhere on the court, Johnny on the spot. 25 points, 9 assists, 6 rebounds. Lauri Markkanen had 23 points for the Bulls. Got key performances for, like I said, Garrett Temple III had 15 points. Otto Porter had 16. And Kobe White had 18 points and 8 assists in his return home. And, of course, West Charlotte's own Patrick Williams in his first game in the Queen City, 4 points, 6 rebounds in 16 minutes as homecoming. So let's talk about what the post game was like. Well, Coach Borrego was just not pleased. I mean, this was a game where the Hornets got their teeth kicked in the entire game, and really the loose ball turnovers were the story. They had 20 turnovers on the night, which led to 26 points for the Bulls, all turnovers tonight. It just wasn't their night. It wasn't a pretty sight, and it was really you can say it's court rust. You haven't played since Saturday, and it's scrimmaging and everything else in between. In the beginning, it looked like it was rust, but it was just the Bulls being the Bulls and really taking advantage of everything that they took advantage of everything Charlotte gave to them. Like I mentioned before, the Bulls out-Hornet the Hornets tonight. They got in the paint. They had 64 points in the paint tonight. Most of that, they did most of the damage in the first 3 quarters in the paint. They were scoring at will. The bench doubled the points of the Hornets tonight, 46 to 20. The Hornets committed 20 turnovers tonight, which was uncharacteristic of the Hornets. They've not been this bad turning the ball over all season. And the telling statistic in Charlotte's wins this year, and what we've seen from Charlotte all year, is the fact of you look at the number of assists to the number of made field goals, and Charlotte has the highest percentage in the NBA when it comes to that. Tonight was not their night. The Hornets had 22 assists to go along with only 42 baskets. The Chicago Bulls, once again, did what the Chicago Bulls did tonight, and they had 33 assists to go along with their 49 baskets. The Hornets were right around 70% assist to made field goal ratio, and this was not their game tonight. It was right around 50%, which means we are not contributing those type of shots. It's just not going to go in. And really, the ball movement was bad tonight. Once again, the defense was just a different type of bad tonight. And for a team that's a top 10 defense, it's kind of disheartening and sad. It's disheartening to watch. And really, a game where Coach Borrego even said before the game that it's going to be interesting how he rotates this lineup, because now Cody Zeller's back in the lineup. They have been playing small ball with PJ at the 5 and then Biz and Biyombo in that rotation. Now it's a 3-man rotation at the bigs, which means a lot of times Miles Bridges, who was playing small ball 5, won't be playing small ball 5 anymore. It's going to take a little bit of rotation time to get this team back together, and Borrego was still just figuring out how this offense works and what pieces work before Zeller came back. And I was expecting Zeller, honestly, back till February, and we got the word he was going to be back way before then. So what are we looking like here? Well, like I said, Gordon played well, Devontae played well, and now let's talk about the elephant in the room. LaMelo Ball was the question about the elephant in the room tonight. Okay, LaMelo Ball's stat line tonight, I mentioned it before, but I'll mention it again tonight. LaMelo Ball had 7 points on 3 of 7 shooting, 2 assists, 2 steals, 5 turnovers in 16 minutes. The real question was LaMelo Ball played a minute and 35 seconds in the second half. Well, LaMelo played a minute 35. When he checked in the game, the Hornets were getting back into the game. They were getting baskets. They were starting to chip into the Bulls' lead. But let me tell you, LaMelo Ball's literally minute and 27 seconds he played in the second half. He got the ball and he committed a complete turnover, which led to a Bulls basket. He committed a second turnover within under 60 seconds, which led to another Bulls basket, which got him pulled. LaMelo did not have his best game tonight. And it's okay. He's a rookie. You're allowed to have those games. When it's not working for you tonight, it's not working for you tonight. Why did Caleb Martin get in the game tonight and play so many minutes is because of the fact of Caleb Martin was just better on the court tonight than LaMelo Ball. Yes, LaMelo Ball had the 2 steals. One of them is because when he missed the dunk that he tried to posterize Dale Gafford, which I definitely don't blame him for it because you got the hops to do it. Go ahead and do it. He did steal the ball and he got Devontae open for a wide open 3-pointer. When you watch the telecast, even watching someone from the Bulls' perspective tonight, Stacey King was wondering why was LaMelo Ball playing so much. Well, when you watch the film, there was a couple of instances where LaMelo Ball just wasn't there. Coach Brago mentioned defensively in start the game. When one of the things about LaMelo Ball is the fact that he's still learning how to play NBA defense. Okay. We talk about LaMelo being a professional and playing in the NBL in Australia, playing in professional leagues before he got to the NBA. And that is something that most rookies don't have that experience to do. But one of the things that LaMelo Ball struggled with in Australia was defense. If you go back to pick and roll defense, he was rated the worst in the entire Australian league in pick and roll defense. The other part was LaMelo didn't play a full season. Okay, he only played 13 games. So that adjustment period that you have to getting used to being a professional, when he started getting his game together is when he got hurt with the foot injury and he was out the rest of the season because he didn't want to hurt his draft stock. And his Australian team was 3-10. They weren't trying to win the championship. LaMelo, at times, we all focus on the offensive side of the game. We all know what he brings to the table on the offensive side of the game. And that's not even that's no doubt or not saying anything about his game because he's also offensively gifted, and we all see every single game that he finds ways to get the ball in the hands of other people, and we see it. But there are moments when that creativity at times gets you in trouble. Not saying LaMelo was guilty of this whole game because it happened all the way around. Was the one-arm whip passes, the one-arm push passes, 2 of them got intercepted that led to easy baskets. And those are things you just can't do as a rookie, especially when you're trying to carve out playing time. Tonight, that little 2-minute stretch in the third quarter got him carved to the bench tonight. But it's okay. The good news is Charlotte has 5 games in the next 7 days, and he's going to get a chance to shake it off with Orlando on back-to-back on Sunday and Monday. It's going to take time. And the good news is Charlotte is at a point where they're not expecting LaMelo Ball to be the savior of this franchise from the second he walked in the door. They have 2 18-point-a-game scoring guards in the lineup already, okay, in the backcourt. A little bit undersized, but they're 18-point-a-game scorers. And we have seen what Terry Rozier has done scoring the ball this year. And if you look at Devontae over the last 5 games, another 24-point effort tonight, but going into the game tonight, in the last 5 games, he was over 17, right around 17 points a game, knocking down 38% of his 3-pointers, right where he was last year, shooting the ball where he was shooting the ball at that same point last year, and also distributing the ball and almost 7 assists a game in the last 5 games. Tonight, 24 points, 6 assists, 1 turnover. We're starting to see Devontae start finding his confidence again. He knocked down 4 threes. Charlotte's not expecting LaMelo Ball to come in and save everything. They're expecting him to come in and learn how to play the game. When you have the offensive giftedness that he has, you want his defense to catch up to his offense. Like I said, when you look at the numbers, say, he has a lot of steals. That is true. But go back and watch Tomas Satoransky's basket that he scored where LaMelo didn't pick up the guy going back door. Or the 3-pointer that Kobe White hit in the corner that got him right before he got pulled from the game. That was his ability not to see the guy in the corner closing out on defense. It's not his fault. He's still learning the game. So when you see him only playing 17 minutes, it's not because James Borrego doesn't like him. It's because if anybody's played a professional sport, or even played a team sport at any point in time, whether it be high school, college, even middle school basketball, if you're not playing well and not following what's supposed to be done, you get pulled. And tonight was LaMelo Ball's game getting pulled. He has those nights. No rookie of the NBA will ever be perfect throughout the entire season. So before the comments get in about Borrego being a terrible coach and nobody coaching, how about LaMelo just had a bad game? It happens. The crazy part about it is, and the question is, why won't Melo Borrego let Melo play through it? It's not letting LaMelo play through it. If it's to the point where it's not going to get any better and Charlotte needed more defense in the court, that's why we saw Martin come in the game. Caleb Martin was playing an outstanding job defensively. It's the fact that the Bulls just knocking down shots. But he was guarding. He was playing both ends of the court. That's what you need at times. Charlotte doesn't need a ball handler at any point in time because remember, Charlotte has three guys that can handle the basketball with LaMelo Ball not being on the court. Okay, Gordon Hayward can handle the ball, Rozier can handle the ball, and Devontae Graham can handle the ball. Do they have the same court vision as LaMelo Ball? No, but they still have the ability to get the basketball in the right hands. I just think tonight was just a night where the rotation just wasn't good. And let's be honest, the Bulls were just really good tonight. The Bulls did something that no Bulls team has ever done in the franchise's history, which is an amazing stat. Tonight's 127 points made the Bulls actually their seventh straight game in a row when they have scored 115 or more points in a row, which is a franchise record. So that's even going back to the days of Michael Jordan. The Bulls never hit 115.7 consecutive games, even with Michael Jordan on this team. So give Billy Donovan and his team and his coaching staff a lot of credit. They're playing to the standards of a different type of basketball. Billy Donovan's team's Oklahoma City, they preached defense because they had different type of defenders. This team is preaching offense. The Bulls were efficient tonight on all ends of the court. They were doing the things that the Charlotte Hornets did. Look at the passing numbers tonight. They had 33 assists and 49 baskets. The ball was moving around. It was whipping from side to side. Everybody was contributing. The three-pointers in the second half were good. They had, 9 in the second half. So they were getting to the basket when they weren't getting to the free throw line. And this was, like I said, this was just a bad game for Charlotte. The turnovers were just everywhere. And like I said, Borrego was not happy with his performance tonight. And like I said, they just got beat from start to finish tonight. It really was, like I said, it wasn't nothing against LaMelo Ball saying why he wasn't playing. He just had a bad night. And Charlotte's got to have to stop expecting Gordon Hayward to save this team at any point in time. Because it just felt like tonight that Gordon Hayward, if he wasn't scoring, he was the one that had to save the team tonight. So it just wasn't one of those nights tonight. So, it wasn't the best night in BuzzCity tonight. But the good news is they get to shake it off because they have an interesting week coming up. So let's talk about the week ahead for the Hornets. They will be in Orlando for the interesting, unusual back-to-back Sunday, Monday back-to-back in Orlando against the Magic. That'll be Sunday and Monday. Then they'll come home Wednesday for a back-to-back at home with Indiana. But that back-to-back will be a Wednesday, Friday back-to-back. And then Giannis and company come to town on Saturday at Spectrum Center. So also, for those Hornets fans wanting to know, the game time is changed for Sunday. So we expect a 6 o'clock tip-off on Sunday. Expect a 7 o'clock tip-off on Fox Sports South with E and Del Curry on the coverage. And also next Saturday night, the game was supposed to be 7 o'clock at Spectrum Center against the Bucks, has now been moved to 8 o'clock. So just an FYI, public service announcement: 7 p.m. on Sunday for Orlando, 8 p.m. on Saturday for Milwaukee for the next week or so. So. Game balls tonight, like I said, Gordon Hayward had a great second half, 24 points in the second half. He finished the game at 34 points. The other game ball goes to Devontae Graham. Had a good game tonight, 24.6 rebounds, and also the third star of the game. To me, tonight actually really was Caleb Martin. Listen, Caleb Martin gets a lot of flack from Hornets fans of why he's playing, why, X, Y, Z, why is he on the court, why is this and that. Caleb Martin tonight showed why he's in the rotation. Listen, Caleb Martin just does little things, okay? Yeah, he missed a couple of wide open three-pointers, that's fine, but the hustle plays he makes is one of the reasons why he's on the court. He was guarding it from 75 to three-quarter courts on defense. He was doing the best job he can on one of the best scorers in the league in Zach LaVine. And when rotations happened, Caleb Martin was covering rotations. Willie D in the chat said, "What's up, Devontae Graham?" Well, Graham had a good first half. Problem was he didn't get it going in the second half. He had 24. He had 22 in the first half, and it seemed like he was the only guy knocking down shots consistently for Charlotte in the first half. He just went cold in the second half. And like I said, with him going cold in the second half, Hayward picked up the offense. But you cannot have games where one guy has it in the first half, another guy has it in the second half, and everybody else plays bad. One of the most shocking statistics tonight was the way Miles Bridges has been shooting the basketball and contributing offensively. He played 20 minutes tonight with no shots. Not a single shot, nothing going to the rim, not even getting to the free throw line tonight. Miles was just not good tonight. Miles had he got to the line for 2 free throws, but he not one attempt from the floor, not one 3-pointer, nothing with him tonight. Like I said, Devontae played good tonight. Assumption Sharks, what I think about the Hawks, wrong show. Heavenly Dew from Dallas, once again, thank you for stopping by the show. With your hello as well too. I appreciate you stopping by. All right, so. Once again, subscribe to me on Haps, which you see in the corner at hapstv.com/Danny Thompson. Please subscribe. Also, if you want to sponsor, by all means, even if it's a 50-cent sponsoring, it does appreciate it. All goes to a great, it also goes to keeping the content going on a consistent basis. So we will be back on Sunday night for the Hornets post-game show, this BuzzCity post-game show live here on Haps TV, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Reddit as well too. So like I said, I'm Danny Thompson from the 3-Point Conversion. Check out my work on 3pointconversion.com, as well as tomorrow, I think right on 10:30, I'll be on the 3-Point Conversion Radio, which is on AM WWE, I think it's 11:10 in Atlanta, or just check them out iHeartRadio. Also check out the 3-Point Conversion YouTube page where you see all the interviews pre-post game, as well as shoot-arounds on a daily basis with the Charlotte Hornets, covering the team on a daily basis. So, like I said, tonight's final score was not a pretty one, 123-110. The Hornets have lost their fourth consecutive game of the season to fall to 6-9. They'll be back in the saddle on Sunday, taking on the Orlando Magic and the new-look Aaron Gordon Orlando Magic. So, 7 p.m. is tip-off. We'll probably be on here right around 10:15. 10:30 on Sunday night. So I'm Danny Thompson. I'll check you guys out on Sunday. Be safe. COVID is not funny and not nothing to play with. Check you guys out later.